Yeah, like why leave the planet when we can just make ourselves tiny? Hey everybody, what's up? My name's Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice.
And today we're taking a look at Shrinkopolis by Most Points Win.
This is coming to Kickstarter on May 28th, and I'm sorry to tell you folks, the world is doomed.
Dun, dun, dun.
But we are running out of resources, and they have come up with a solution to be able to survive. We're going to shrink ourselves really small, and so that we don't use up as many resources. I personally think this sounds like an amazing idea, and thought, like, why has this never been brought up before?
This is the modern day solution to feeding the 5,000 on a loaf of bread and a fish.
Yeah, like why leave the planet when we can just make ourselves tiny? But that is what's going on here. We are trying to survive in this little room to help continue the human race. So let's go ahead and get started.
Alrighty, so Shrinkopolis is a super fast, we're talking a snappy 15 to 30 minute game depending on the number of players, card drafting, tile placement game, where you're effectively building out your own little corner of this giant room that we're in as your sort of like new civilization. So you're going to be drafting these cards. Now they're in a circle, alternating between these city cards and then these reward cards. You'll take one of each, and then you will place the city card in your city, and then hopefully be able to place that reward card at some point in the future, if not immediately. Now, when you link those two cards together, you're going to be getting rewards. And so those rewards come in the form of these little dice, and the dice represent different supplies you have, whether it's food or supplies or tools. Now, we are tiny little beings now, so we're dragging this giant quarter across the room, or this like giant apple core. So unfortunately, we cannot divide these dice any lower. So if I have a 3 dice, it means I have 3 food, and I need to only pay 2, I still have to pay the entire die to be able to purchase that reward.
There is no change in the tiny world.
Yes. However, we can get these tool cards. So we can get these scissors that let us cut those dice down to be smaller. We can also get glue, which helps us stick 2 different colored dice together. And then we also get paint, so we can paint the die a different color before we use it. So there's different nice ways to convert those resources. Now, most of the points you're going to get are going to come from 3 main sources. There's either going to be points on those reward cards that once they become linked to other cards will give you points. You will also get points from the center of the table from these global endgame goals that everyone participates in. And then you also start with these hidden goals that you get to put down as cards in your own city. And a few more of those will come out into the deck later in the game that will say, you get X number of points for every, X number that you do. And as the title of the publisher would say, the most points wins.
Yes. Yeah, this is just a really cute tile placement game. The art in this game is really adorable. All really like really tiny figures, and it reminds me of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like just different ways to adapt and everything, how it works. The idea is that when we were shrunk down, we didn't think about how we were going to survive in this world. So now we're just like kind of making it up as we go and progressing and building out our little happy society. But what I like about this game is that it's a game where I can just sit down and play, which is honestly, sometimes all I want to do is just be able to sit down, not a lot of setup. The setup is you playing the game, and you can just begin playing. It's like, it's kind of on the level of, I would say, Carcassonne as far as tile placement goes, with that level of gameplay, but it's really snappy turns, moves quickly. One thing I'd love you to touch on, can you talk about these Anna meeples?
Oh yeah, so we have these adorable we got a little ant, we got a little hamster, guinea pig, and then we also have like a little bee. So we have all these different little animals that are quite large to us actually now. But if you were able to attract them with food to your cards, you're going to be the first person to get this meeple. This now lets you follow when other players do links. So I can say, actually, I want to do that link too and get that bonus. But when you give those players those animals, they're then going to get points for those at the end of the game. So it's just another way you can get points.
Yeah. But super cute and just adds a fun like textual element. And just so everyone's aware, we are working with a prototype. So all of these components are prototypes, but I already love, this is like an amazing prototype. I'm so super cute.
It's very cute.
Okay, so we talked about what we love.
I think there's more that I love, honestly.
Keep going. Let's keep talking.
So, I think I really like that the dice, there's so much efficiency that you have to figure out in terms of okay, I have to spend my whole die, so I have to try to get enough for this to be worth it. but also like you lose resources if you overspend, which is just kind of a cool mechanic in general. I think also the one-time use tools per turn make you feel like you can do a lot. You definitely get to the point where, you know, you start, you're just placing one card. Towards the end, you're placing 3-4 cards or more on your turn where you're chaining, okay, then I combine these dice and then I get these 2 dice, which lets me buy this. So you really get to start to do a lot on your turn, but it builds very naturally where, again, this is a game we'll never forget the rules to.
Yes.
Yeah. Another like fairly rare mechanic that was in this game, so you start with 2 hidden goals, you pick one, that's pretty common, but the one that you don't pick goes near the bottom of the market deck. So that card will actually come out later as a market card that you can get, which I thought was pretty interesting because like I actually was planning just as much for the goal I discarded as for the other one, and then I ended up snatching up your goal instead because I liked your goal better.
That part was, I don't think I've ever seen that in a game because usually when you get hidden goals, you pick one discard, but the fact that you already know what that hidden goal is and you know it's going to be coming out eventually, the fact that you can get both, it kind of gives you a little insight into the deck, which was fun.
Honestly, this is just a small box, fun little tight tile placement game. You get, you know, I think it's like 8 turns or so in the entire game, or 7 turns. It's pretty snappy, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of room to criticize because it's a light, cute little game. And I think there's enough novel mechanics in here that I really enjoyed playing this.
Yeah, I think an important thing to say is that I am sad that we have to mail this prototype on to another reviewer, and I am sad about it. But because we did enjoy the light, snappy turns, and this is a great filler in between your 2 big games at the beginning of the game night or to cap off a game night. Or honestly, the other night, we played it because John was like, can we please play a game? And I was like, I only have like 15 minutes in me. Well, look what we played. But yeah, so if this game sounds interesting to you, head over to the Kickstarter. If you're watching on the Kickstarter, go watch the other videos in the campaign. This seems like an absolutely wonderful company. I've really enjoyed working with them. And thank you so much for Shrinkopolis for asking us to do this video. Help games, help small publishers. We are those too, so I'll always support a small publisher. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know whenever we put out a new video. And we'll see you next time. Happy playing!